Wherefore, Part 27. Full moon. The aurochs are out on the common, keeping the regular cows company. The giants are out on the Severn Plain, dancing in the pale light. What music they hear as they sway in time and twist their long arms through the night sky is anyone's guess. The animals who become people are out there too, trying to figure out their strange skins. The weaver is sat on the barrow on the dark side, the side that faces Selsley Common. There is too much light pollution on the river-facing side. The barrow dead are also sat and stood on the barrow. This is not a conversation. They're not doing anything, and for once the weaver isn't really plotting anything, and the barrow is an excellent place to not plot anything on the night of the full moon. Also, the weaver likes talking to the man in the moon. They go back a long way. On cloudy nights, the man in the moon sneaks down to also sit around and do nothing in a companionable sort of way. The skies are cloud heavy tonight, so there is every chance of a showing. The weaver is melancholy and feeling dislocated. This is difficult because the weaver's bones are literally made from the limestone of the hill, and the weaver's body is intimately connected to the landscape. But even so, she does not reliably feel like she belongs. There is too much missing. Cranes and curlews. 2 species of grasshopper. An orchid mutation that did not survive. These things bother her. She can no longer bear to be on the hill in the daylight. It is fine to be up here with the moon, the aurochs, even the odd wizard, but daylight is killing her. She cannot bear how people suck the magic out of the land with their consumption of it, their carelessness, and the abandoned dog poo bags. Nor can she bear the noise of their cars, or the smell of pollution, or the glow from their town making the riverside of the barrow bright at night, when it should be beautifully dark. The weaver, who should belong here, is becoming unwoven from the land, and this is not good news. It is becoming even harder to do the work. Not being a weaver is, of course, an option. It is an active role. The person who does not weave is just a person and might live quietly amongst people. A weaver could unweave themselves from what magic remains in the world. It is not a happy choice. But it does not feel like there are any happy choices right now. At least the dead have no expectations, and the giants do not care, and the night exists on a scale that makes all of this trivial. There has always been a weaver, one of the many spirits of place intrinsic to the life of the land. The weaver knows that being the weaver is a story many generations of weavers have woven into this place and their own lives. Back when this was a wool-weaving area, it must have been powerful magic. What does it mean to be a weaver without the wool trade, the red dye, the people who weave, and the people who grow the wool upon their backs? Partly the weaver is feeling the sense of loss in the land that has dreamed aurochs onto the hill and is aching from the absence of ice. One cannot be connected to the weave of all existence, even just on the local scale, and not be deeply affected by what is going on in the world, what is lost and what is dying and what may be ruined forever. There are days when all the weaver does is try to sustain life, to keep a grass verge full of flowers, or keep a developer out of just one field. It is exhausting, and there is so much to do, and even though the 5 valleys are better than many places, the thread-snapping tension in the weave that is reality has impacted here. The clouds swallow the moon. Evening, says the moon from beside her. The weaver does not need to look round. He is too bright for her anyway, and she does not need to see to know who is with her. You could leave, says the man in the moon, who is being more man than moon at the moment. There is no away, says the weaver. There is more wildness in the world than you can find here. You might feel better. I might, she says, morose and unpersuaded. But these are my oolites, you know? She gives a long, low chuckle. And these are your aurochs, the moon says. They just turned up. More every time, says the weaver. It's fine, the land needs them, and gods know these people could use some re-enchantment. There isn't enough of that about anymore, the moon acknowledges. They sit in silence and are morose together for a little while. How do you lose the threads of enchantment? The weaver asks. The fabric of everything is so thin, there's so little life in it. I don't know how much more of this I can take. Have you seen the giants? The moon asks. Of course I've seen the fucking giants, the weaver says, and there are tears flowing freely down her face at this point. And I've also seen what they're made of. How barely here they are. They should be thundering the ground at every step. Their breath should send aeroplanes falling from the sky. Their voices should be all there. She struggles. Their farts should be death and their sex lives terrifying. She pauses to wipe tears and snot from her face. Bad day, then? The moon asks. Yes, says the weaver. Everything is spinning out of control and I'm scared and tired and out of ideas. Is it your job to sort everything out? The man in the moon asks her. Yes, says the weaver. No one and nothing else has any responsibility here? No? Well, says the weaver, in theory, but not enough in practice. You are allowed to ask for help, the man in the moon says. Are you offering me help? Oh no, that would clearly be against all the rules. I'm simply reminding you that you are allowed to ask for help. Noted, says the weaver. I'd have to be able to imagine some kind of help I could ask for. Why would you need to be that specific? The moon asks. That's how I do things. Details, precision. Come on, you know how I work the threats. Again, I'm just going to mention this casually and in passing, but sometimes a vague intent can get a lot done. Risky, says the weaver. Are you winning right now? Asks the moon. Not really, says the weaver. The fabric of everything is so thin. I mean, sure, the rhubarb is fun and the other bits and pieces are entirely jolly and charming, and if it was just women turning into bears and prophetic fish and whatnot, I could go with that. She shudders. But there is so much of the other stuff. The angry, hungry, hateful stuff. Harder to spot who that's infected. No quaint moonlight activities for them. What would help? The moon asks. Think carefully. I'm not telling you what to ask for, just really think about this. More magic, the weaver says. Good magic. I need some kind of magic thing to happen that brings good energy, firms up the threads, makes the giants real. I'm open to it taking whatever form seems fitting. I need a magic thing. The man in the moon nods sagely at this. You need a magic thing. A good choice. She feels how his echoing of her words moves out through the weave, an open invitation for some kind of rescue. How far in place and time these words will have to travel to do their work, she does not know. But something will come of it. Something comes of everything, regardless of how much attention you pay or what you intend, or even how likely it is. The weaver and the moon have changed things, because that is what they do. Beneath them the hill shifts a little as though turning in its sleep. The weaver closes her eyes tightly and turns towards the moon, pictures the shape of a man with a moon face, concentrates on where the shoulders should be, reaches out a hand, makes contact, insists that the sensation of contact is the feeling of a hand on a shoulder, because she is the weaver and she is good at such details. Leans in to where the face of the moon must be, kisses the cool cheek of the moon, feels what must be the hand of the moon on her waist, kisses the lips of the moon. They have been lovers for a long time. It is mostly a question of believing in each other and acting out that belief. It is all about the details, the smallest and most precious of the details.